The search for David Puckett ends, close to his home, far from how everyone had hoped. Tonight we're answering your questions about how the search was handled. A district attorney gets a taste of the other side of the law. Knowing that not everything that happened in town today was terrible, we won't pretend like it was. They can't hire people fast enough, so they're paying to train them. The stock show says some stock show weather is too stock showy even for the stock show. A lonely woman's moving newspaper ad is answered by Steve Staeger. And the formerly homeless man whose story got so many of you talking this week is back to clear up a few things. It's all next. It was hope against hope with the time that had gone by since David Puckett had last been seen, but no one wanted to give up hope, not for a 6-year-old. And then Aurora's police chief stepped to the microphone. You knew it before the police chief said it. You knew it was the news we feared.
You all know that on New Year's Eve, we got a call of little David Puckett missing from his home.
The body of a child, believed to be David, was found under the ice in a pond in Olympic Park. The chief told his family.
Even though we don't have a positive identification yet, they are devastated.
Because they had checked that pond. Searchers had checked that pond.
We had a lot of folks went around the pond. There was no indication that there had been any breakage in the ice. In fact, even the family members said that they had gone around it and didn't see anything.
It was only when a search dog led them back that they sent in the divers. And more than 2 days after David Puckett was last seen alive, they found the body. There will be questions about how this happened, how the search was handled. Please remember, not every bad thing that happens is someone's fault. But we will be asking questions because you are asking questions. It was Diana who wrote into Next saying, shame on Aurora police. It never should have been 24 hours before looking for a small child. It was not 24 hours. Everything that we know suggests that Aurora police began searching immediately and that a search dog from Jeffco was on the scene within an hour. I think that some of the confusion about the timeline is because of the delay in issuing the Amber Alert. It was 48 hours after David disappeared, roughly, that came out. Danielle emailed us saying, I don't care about any Amber Alerts. Seems like they issue them all the time. And, you know, that's what law enforcement and the media who partner up to send out these Amber Alerts, that's what we don't want. We don't want them to be background noise. But there are legitimate questions about how and when this Amber Alert was issued, whether it should have been issued earlier or perhaps if this case never actually met the strict criteria and this Amber Alert was issued either as a last resort or in response to public pressure. We've invited the Colorado Bureau of Investigation to come on next this week to talk about the Amber Alert system and to talk about whether it was correctly used in this case. We don't do the mugshot parade routine on this newscast, but many of you know the man in this mugshot. He's been on the news for years talking about the consequences of breaking the law. The Jeffco DA's office has not decided yet if the consequences of Scott Story's New Year's Eve drunk driving arrest will be the loss of his job. He's a deputy district attorney these days. He was the man in charge, the DA, twice elected. He was term limited, so he stepped down a rung. He was arrested in Littleton and charged with a misdemeanor. There will be no stock show parade this year. It was canceled for just the second time in the stock show's 111-year history. They're concerned about the weather on Thursday. Not the cold, that's standard for the stock show each and every year. It is the second weather issue, according to the National Western CEO, Paul Andrews, the man with the big hat and all the cattle.
The snow is the worst of the two. We would be happy to have that parade in sub-zero temperature if there was not snow, but the two of them combined create safety problems for both spectators and animals.
The stock show has events all weekend at the National Western Complex. If you want to swing by and show a little love to the people who raise and grow our food around Colorado. It's a sign that suggests what might really be wrong with RTD's troubled A-line train to the plane. Underneath a transit watch warning, it asks people to report suspicious activity and says, in case of emergence, call 911. What exactly is going to emerge from the A-line, RTD? Tell me before it comes out, quick. Rachel Stewart's the viewer who spotted this, snapped it, sent it our way using the hashtag #HeyNext. So of course we have to ask the question, is the A-line working today? Or has that thing emerged? Great news, train to the plane's just chugging along, problem-free, the way to be. Heads up though, there are some RTD service changes that take effect across the system on January 15th. Make sure that you check the schedule and you're aware of them. Don't be hashtag #HeyNexting us with a problem if you're the one who didn't check the schedule. And here's your reminder that CDOT wants you to have more friends in the new year, or pay more money to use its HOV lanes. We talk about this change from 2 to 3 people in the HOV every week. And every week people are all like, hey, next, why don't you talk about CDOT's new scheme to extort money out of us for the HOV lanes? So there's your warning. 3 people in the HOV now. May I make a recommendation where we point you towards something that is not ours but is absolutely worth your time? This is about the value of McDonald's. Don't scoff. It is about how McDonald's is the center of the community in many small towns and poor neighborhoods. Places like where I grew up, where there aren't other affordable or available options as a place to gather, to smile, to cry, to feel a part of something. This article in The Guardian may just change the way that you look at the restaurant that so many people seem to hate. I highly recommend this article. You can find it on the next Facebook page. When was the last time that you heard someone in town say, I can't find work? Well, let them know. We found it for them. In Denver's booming restaurant scene. Our Byron Reed has the story.
Let's do some kettle chips and a pickle.
At Mercantile Dining and Provisions in Union Station.
All about timing, all about, doing your job.
Doing your job can lead to success.
If everyone does their job, then we'll be successful as a team.
And a team approach is how part owner Matt Vodder likes to make sure his kitchen runs. But some restaurant owners around the city are finding it difficult to find members for their own teams.
There's so many restaurants opening on every corner that it's just less people available.
An issue the booming industry has been seeing over the past few years.
We have so much growth in this city in the restaurant space, like over 250 new restaurants for like 3 years running.
That's why the Culinary Quick Start program was created by industry leaders and the Emily Griffith Technical College. A 4-week tuition-free program beginning this month, designed for students to learn introductory skills created to fill the gaps in the industry's labor pool.
It boils down the essence of being able to get into a kitchen right off the bat and really be able to provide impact to these folks.
Providing an impact that meets the customer's demand for satisfaction.
I think everybody wants to make people happy. It's just the way that we know how to make people happy is through food.
Making people happy through food with potential to grow.
Develop as a line chef, as a sous chef, as a head chef, an executive chef.
The sky's the limit. We don't hold anybody back. Anybody could eventually work into my job.
And his job is to make sure everyone on his team grows into their own success.
To see young people come through the business and grow up in the business and become better at something and become a craftsman is super rewarding for me as a chef.
For Next, I'm Byron Reed.
Oh, but I missed it. Guess I have to keep looking for a job. No, Eat Denver hopes to offer these things 10 times a year. Hope to bring 250 new employees into the industry from other fields of work or unemployment. But if you're more of the work outdoors type, the U.S. Forest Service is hiring throughout the West. Perhaps I am romanticizing what is really hard and thankless work, but it kind of seems cool. Go work in some beautiful far-flung spot in Wyoming or South Dakota. There are jobs in Colorado as well. San Juan National Forest, Pike San Isabel Forest, the Arapaho National Forest. The Forest Service is bringing people on for forestry jobs, engineering, wildlife work. You can find all the details on the next Facebook page. The changing weather forecast that scared the out of the National Western may have you taking stock of your plans. Details in our weather app now, right here in a moment. One of our neighbors goes to extreme measures to find a friend.
Why'd you do it?
Because I'm tired of sitting in my apartment alone at night.
And a booming business that is the most Colorado thing we saw today.
I've lived the van life,
I don't know actually, but I'm hoping to learn more next.
The month of January, it's known for cold and snow, so no surprise, here it comes. I'm meteorologist Kathy Sabin. Things are calm and cool in the city tonight after a high right around the freezing mark. It's going to get a whole lot colder tomorrow with a second surge of Arctic air due in late in the afternoon. Forecast models have Denver in the 4 to 8 inch range for snowfall late Wednesday through midday Thursday. Heaviest snow will fall overnight Wednesday. That means your morning drive, you'll need to plan ahead for that. Cold air settling in between now and the weekend, and that jet stream carrying in so much moisture, combining forces with that Arctic air. So we certainly do have a nice little cold snap coming in. Heavy mountain snow will be measuring the snow in feet by Friday morning with winter storm warnings that have already gone out. Snow begins in Denver about midday tomorrow and then really kind of picks up during the evening drive. Currently no advisories for the city, but areas like Fort Collins and Boulder just north and west of town already under a winter storm watch. 9 in Denver tonight, mostly cloudy, dry and chilly. Tomorrow we have a high of 25 degrees with snow developing in the late day period, continuing overnight. 4 to 8 inches of snow with highs in the teens on Thursday, lows below 0. We clear out on Friday afternoon, and then some models suggest highs near 60 early next week.
Kathy, thanks. The most Colorado thing we saw today is how 2 CU grads are helping people explore our beautiful state. It's a van, man.
All right, the interior converts to a double bed.
It's just a simpler way of living.
Boil water, cook food.
It goes along with more of a minimalistic lifestyle.
Forks, knives, spoons, can opener, bottle opener. All right, so my name is Dylan Hansen.
My name is John Moran.
I am the head of brand.
I am head of product at Native Camper Vans.
They all have names. You're looking at Vanny DeVito right now. The red one is Van Halen, Nirvana, and then Vanna White.
We went to college together and went on a trip to New Zealand.
I've lived the van life, you know, lived in the van for the month in New Zealand.
Came back to the States and just sort of looked at our lives and said, we've got to do this.
You know, Colorado, it's a growing state.
There's 70+ million visitors every year to Colorado.
It's just real peaceful.
So people are coming here to explore, to get outside.
It's such a great jumping off point for so many different state parks and national parks in the area.
No edge! I think it's the people out here. Everyone that comes to Colorado is looking for adventure.
A camper van is an experience. It's not just the vehicle that you're in.
So you're looking at the kitchen from that angle?
What it's capable of doing, but it's where you're going and who you're with and all the things that make up a camping experience.
If you see something that would only happen in Colorado, don't keep secrets now. Share. Email next@9news.com or get our attention anytime with the hashtag HeyNext. Our search for the smartest kid in Colorado is raising a question that my producers say I won't be able to answer. And a woman going old school to find someone should have specified an age because she ended up with our Steve Staeger.
We're hanging out. This is fun.
Yes.
Our ongoing search for the smartest kid in Colorado has brought us to Fairview High and a senior who is one of the best young mathematicians in America, 17-year-old Kevin Wang. He's headed to Atlanta this weekend. He's one of 10 students selected to compete in the American Mathematical Society's Who Wants to Be a Mathematician contest. Kevin had a lot of stiff competition to get past just to get to this point, including fellow members of the Fairview High Math Club. He's been doing competitive math since he was a 6th grader. I did not know that was a thing. And he also had a hidden edge in the end. It was his age.
I just happened to tie with one of the juniors, and since I was older, they let me go to the national competition. So that first year I did pretty well for a 6th grader who hadn't had any previous experience, and then after that I started practicing a bit more. I just started doing more problems, and then I ended up getting better, so I just kind of stuck with it. It's pretty fun, I guess. I like doing math, so.
Good for him. He's going to make a mint someday. The winner of the competition Saturday will get a $10,000 prize. Kevin says he'll donate some of it. He'll buy some tickets to a basketball game. After high school, he'll study computer science at Carnegie Mellon University.
Yeah, we couldn't let Kevin leave the station without putting Kyle's math skills to the test. He has a problem for you to solve.
Okay, Kyle, what's e to the negative I pi, as in e to the power of negative I pi?
Got that? E to the negative
E to
I.
the negative I pi.
You know what I is. I don't even know what I is.
Yeah, and I enjoy pi. I don't even know where to begin. Did he tell you the answer?
He gave us -1.
Well, see, that now I feel foolish because
I wouldn't have been able to figure. I didn't do the background.
Yeah, good for
anything.
Kevin Wang, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you what, some people like to joke about the fact they can't do math. I'm embarrassed by it. I think everybody should be able to do math, so Kevin's my hero for the day.
Yeah, apparently it's a calculus problem, by the way. So
Yeah.
that answer, -1, all while the next woman we talked to is looking for a +1. Someone sent us a photo of a want ad of a woman in Castle Rock, 70 plus, looking for friends. So we responded.
Wanted new friends, single, no oxygen, no canes, no walkers, will go out at night, over 70 years old, plays games and cards, conservative, and lives in Castle Rock.
What kind of response have you gotten to it so far?
Well, I didn't specify men or women, I just said friend. And I've had 2 ladies call and 2 men call.
So you've had a date on this?
Yeah, but I guess he'd call it that. Yeah, we went out for lunch.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then another gentleman called and we got disconnected twice. I don't know how good cell
So
phones
you're just done with him?
Well, I got his number.
Oh, okay. Would you ever turn to like a Facebook or another online thing to meet people, or are you going to stick to the paper?
Now, am I supposed to confess this?
Go ahead.
I signed up on Match.
Oh, you're on Match.com?
But just for a couple of weeks now. And all you do is sit in front of the computer. It's nothing. It's dumb.
This is much more effective.
I think so. And probably a little cheaper. Castle Rock has a very active senior center. Are you aware of that?
I'm not aware.
Oh, well, it's up on the hill with the rec center. And it is active, but nothing, it shuts down at 5 o'clock and everybody goes and they lock the door. And that's, I'm ready to go at 5 o'clock. The thing is that there are many 70-year-olds and up that are still active and are alone. And this group needs something.
Do you ever think about organizing something?
Well, that's what it might come up to if I get if you get enough response to this, maybe we can get a more active senior group going.
We're hanging out. This is fun.
Yes, you're a little young.
So if you know somebody who'd be a good fit for that group, pass the contact info along to us. We'll get it to Judy. And we're always looking for people with an interesting story. So if you know someone we should meet, email next@9news.com or use the hashtag #HeyNext.
Steve Staeger using stories as excuses for dates.
There you go.
Good on you. The man who joined us this week to explain why so many fellow homeless people in the city will not sleep in shelters is back next to answer some of the questions that you sent us about his story. Troy Montoya is his name. He used to live on Denver's streets. Yesterday, he was a guest on Next, explaining why about 15% of Denver's homeless population won't sleep in shelters. You flooded us with questions and comments, so we thought it'd be worth hearing more of Troy's perspective on homelessness.
I think the homeless shelter is a dual-edged sword. One, you have a roof over your head and you're warm and you have ability to get to a shower. 2, it's very dangerous. I chose to stay on the streets as opposed to the shelters because I was alone. I was safe. I had a little bit of control over my environment that I didn't have control over while I was in a shelter. There needs to be more shelters where there's treatment involved. I would love to see a shelter that requires you to do treatment to stay in that shelter, and there's great programs. But I think they're just not addressing the mental illness side of homelessness. A lot of people don't stay in the shelters because they have a cart, and that cart is their life. So leaving your cart behind would be like a normal person going to work and leaving their house unlocked. They're not willing to do it, and it's everything that they own. The homeless community deserves to be acknowledged, deserves to be embraced.
We finished with your feedback. Jeff writes, are you guys ever going to bring back the real news at 6? Tonight, Jeff, we talked about the death of a young man that hundreds had searched for in our community, whether the Amber Alert system failed him. Talked about a DA who's in danger of losing his job, innovative job training in a booming industry in town, successful entrepreneurs who just saw their homelessness. I'm not sure what real news you're talking about. Some random shooting, a car crash, snow in Minnesota? We might have different definitions of real news, Jeff. We probably will next time as well.